Welcome back to News and Talk 1380 WLK 448-922-2703. 448-922-2703 is our phone number here in the studio. A special guest, she's written a book, A New Black America, Vernicia Malveaux. So Vernicia, tell me, what is a new Black America? Why do we need one? Is the one that we're in is so broken, it's irretrievably broken?
Well,
or what do we need to fix first in your mind?
I don't want to say it's irretrievably broken, but I want to say that we have a lot of things that haunt the majority of us, and it's issues that we can solve if we just go through step by step. I think a lot of us just feel overwhelmed, and we don't like how we treat each other, we don't want to do business with each other, and we're just frustrated, and we don't know where to start. So, that kind of spawned the idea for writing the book. I started out blogging and got so many people following the blogs and really liking the topics that I was talking about. And so I figured, let me put this all together, because when I have discussions with friends and families, they're like, oh, I just don't know where to start. I just don't want to deal with us anymore,
Mm-hmm.
So really, it's about going through all the chapters in the book and kind of just evaluating your life and seeing what areas you can improve on, I would say that family is the most important, but all these areas are very important, between family, relationships, religion, the workplace, it's some interesting topics in here.
Now let's talk about Black men need love too. Mm-hmm. You open up with an opening missive that talks about affirming Black men. Then you say there's some issues within Black men that they need to deal. There's some contradictions there. Mm-hmm. Also, the player,
right,
the one with the lack of self-awareness,
right,
and the too overconfident
right.
of men. And so tell us about what stuff we need to get together.
Well, men got some issues too. One thing I want to do is get very specific, because I think that a lot of us just, blanketly say, men are no good. And a lot of guys, they're not aware of the specifics on how they can improve particular things. So, the no self-awareness is one that's actually kind of funny. And that's the man that, you take out to dinner and he got the toothpick in his mouth and he's staring around like the police coming to get him, It's just a lot of us who, either have no self-awareness or not concerned about what's going on around us and how we make people feel. We get frustrated about, getting stereotyped, but what kind of attitude are you giving off? Are you staring people down like you're going to slap them when you see them? So this chapter talks about things like that and behaviors that could be modified to get different results. It's really about getting better results. Also, overconfident men, selfish men, self-hatred, users. Some of these are some of the typical things that women and men say about each other, but this gets very specific and gives examples. Every section gives examples on, hey, if this is happening, if you're mooching off of somebody and this woman is doing all she can to try to support you and you're doing nothing in return, that is what it is. I've had several men who have come to me and say, you know what, I am this man, I am that man. I didn't even know. All I hear is when my woman is talking to me, I just tune her out. I completely tune her out because she's fussing, she's mad, and she's not specific on, how I can improve my behavior to get better results.
So what in the book do you tell them how to make improvement?
Yes, I'm very specific on
so let's say I'm the man filled with self-hatred. How do I improve myself from being a self-hating Negro?
Okay. Well, I believe the chapter on self-hating men, those are men who prefer not to date Black women at all.
Yeah, because y'all just talk too much and y'all just gossipy and y'all messy.
Right, that kind of man.
So I go out with Miss Sally. Miss Sally ain't asking me no questions. She picking up the tab for me.
Right.
Hell, she even coming opening my door. So what's wrong with me dating Miss Sally?
Well, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with dating Miss Sally, but the reasons why you might be dating Miss Sally.
Right.
And, I think people are free to date whoever they like if they make them happy.
Okay.
Now, if you only like Miss Sally and you hate your own, even though you came from a Black woman, there may be.
Well, I like my mama, but the rest of y'all. My mama's all right, but the rest of y'all, y'all just got too much issues. I got to come home and deal with 12 children and, baby daddy calling over here. Got to come in the house ain't clean.
Right.
Miss Sally going to have the house clean, going to have me something to eat. She going to take me out. She going to drive her car, use her gas. What's wrong with that?
Yeah, well, you may think that that's how it starts out, but in the end, where are you going to end up? If you lose your money or whatever it is that you have, Miss Sally might not be using her money. Yeah, well.
Miss Ann. Well, Miss Ann ain't asking me 10,000 questions about where I've been, who I'm with. Miss Ann, we just enjoying each other's company.
Well, let me just say that I start with women first before this chapter, so hopefully you've got a woman that worked out some of those issues. That's exactly why I start with men's behaviors, but we don't look at how we can make it torturous for a person to come home to us. So let's get through that first, and then the men can
So
work
now,
on
what
themselves.
advice do you give women to tell them how to create a pleasant atmosphere out of which love can occur without putting this man under just undue pressure?
Well, one example is I speak with a woman who's called, she's Miss Wears the Pants. And she's a person who demoralizes a man, and because she's had so much success in, corporate America, which, in this day and time, more women are getting their education, more women are independent, and I tell her how it feels to dominate, a man to a man. And you wonder, you say to him, well, you can't make any decisions, you can't do nothing for me. That's because you're making all the decisions, and you're not, and then he's getting satisfied somewhere. It may not be from you, but it's somewhere. So I explained that whole situation. And throughout the chapter on women, I talk about being more compassionate. And you're not losing anything by learning from other cultures. A lot of us say, well, I ain't going to be like that. You such and such type of woman. She's too submissive, or that man going to take advantage of her. You're only winning in the end, though. If you got somebody that loves you back and you're giving love, what's wrong with that situation? So I just kind of give a different perspective. A lot of us are so hardened,
All right. Let's go to the phone line and talk to Brittany downtown. Brittany, how you doing?
Hi, how are you doing?
All wonderfully well.
Thanks for the call.
Question for Vernicia?
It's really a comment.
Okay.
I believe she must have been sitting at the table when I'm talking to sisters and sister friends. That's the same thing. I really came in on the part where she was talking about women have so much more power than we think.
Right.
And that we like to victimize ourselves. And I'm just in so much agreement with everything she's saying. I have said, even with the self-hatred, and I think what happens with black men and black women, unfortunately, a lot of us haven't been mothered or fathered.
Right.
And so we go into these relationships and we're angry and we're looking to get something, both men and women. So it's like, I'm going in and you're going to give me what I didn't get.
Right.
And so we have two angry people.
Right.
And we have a race like that because we're looking at a couple of decades where we haven't had parental guidance, love. So we don't know how to love. We don't know how to respect. I'm a 46-year-old woman, and I think I came in at the cusp, the end, where I saw that love, that respect, and I've also seen the tide turn. But we just hate one another. So I'm just in so much agreement. I'm gonna get a book.
Right. Good. Definitely get the book. But let me ask you this while I got both of y'all, because you make a valid point, and I believe the love is gone because we're not teaching it.
Right.
You can't do something that you don't know. How do we teach us how to love each other? I'm talking about men and women now. How do you teach me how to love? Because the only thing I know is we got a generation, I call them the Lil Weezy generation.
Right.
That, I'm supposed to slap you around, mistreat you, call you a B, call you an H, and you get in the car, and you my ride or die chick.
Right. Well, I definitely say that we start with the family. One of the chapters says talks about establishing a family structure.
But Vernicia, now we got to come to reality.
Okay.
We know that the family structure that we understand is not the leave it, the cleaver, war, beaver kind of structure.
Sure.
So when you talk about how do we construct a family, how do we construct it when either it's blended, we don't have one, mama's on crack, ain't seen mama. What do we do in the socio-economic reality that's facing too many black people, where you got 70% of all households are headed by a single female?
I give simple steps that you can follow with connecting with your children. For example, something as simple as having a regular schedule, a regular bedtime. You read to them every night.
All right, now, well, let's put a pin in that, and we're gonna come back to it. We got Lorraine at Powers Cars. Let's go to Lorraine over at Powers Cars. Lorraine, how you doing?